might have continued for 1 or 2 months after he was appointed chairman. In interviews prior to his arrest, Duch appeared to admit torturing prisoners, and in particular person K. However, it is not entirely clear. During the judicial investigation, Duch admitted interrogating person K, but stated that Son Sen ordered him not to use torture. Several witnesses declared that they saw Duch beating prisoners, including kicking prisoners, beating a man with a piece of rattan, and striking blows. One witness claimed to have observed him beating a prisoner in front of S21. Witness E also said he saw Duch electrocuting a woman during an interrogation. He told investigators that Duch, together with 5 or 6 interrogators, including person F, person AA, person BB, person CC, and person G, tortured her from 9 at night until 3 in the morning, and since the woman did not confess, they continued until she lost consciousness. Witness E added that he saw Duch beat, electrocute, and undress the woman, leaving her wearing only her panties. Duch beat her until he got tired, whereupon someone else would interrogate while he listened for the responses. He said the interrogators were laughing and joking while they administered the torture. Duch denied this incident and said that witness E was concealing his own activity and making up stories. Witness A also denies the electrocution incident took place. However, Duch confirmed the veracity of a separate incident between prisoners. Witness N declared that one day in the painter's room, Duch ordered him to exchange blows with a sculptor, person DD, by hitting each other with a rubber hose. Duch conceded that he ordered this scene, but could not remember any particular reason for so doing. Numerous witnesses, amongst them former interrogators, explained that Duch, as chairman, ordered the torture of prisoners. Duch did not contest this, stating that if the prisoner was less important, I assigned person Z, because this person Z liked to use torture very much. When a prisoner refused to answer, I told person G to send the prisoner to person Z. Witness E acknowledged that Duch personally taught the use of torture to the interrogators. He continued, in torturing prisoners, he, Duch, gave instructions: electric shock, beatings, putting their heads in plastic bags, pulling out finger toenails, but he prohibited letting them die. Witness E further acknowledged that the interrogators had the right to torture if a prisoner did not respond. He stated that the decision to torture was given by Duch verbally, either in person or by telephone. Witness E said that whenever he was unable to make a prisoner talk, he asked for advice from Duch, who would respond by saying, "So, use torture." Another interrogator, witness G, stated that he frequently received instructions from Duch, who provided training on how to interrogate prisoners, pointing out weak points. Witness G added, "As for me, the torture was assigned to person C. Because I was a new interrogator. As for the old, more senior interrogators, they had the right to torture." For his part, Duch admitted to differing degrees that he ordered the torture of prisoners. He claimed to have taught interrogation techniques only once, while he was still Deputy Secretary under Person B. He continued, "The training was for about 1 week and 2 hours per day. After that, I called comrades individually to provide advice or to correct mistakes. The instructions were not to rely heavily on torture and be patient." Moreover, Duch admitted that he set the rules concerning interrogation. The judge. Please we adjourn for a moment for the IT to transfer the system. Please be seated. Mr. President, please, Mr. Duch continue the reading. Mr. Duch, when confronted by the co-investigating judges with annotated confessions, Duch recognized 3 written orders to conduct torture. He stated that it was he who had written, "Not yet confessed," to be tortured, and later interrogate meticulously, serious but moderate torture in order to find the networks. Hit until she stops saying she went to Vietnam with her grandfather to cure his cancer and the problem of menstruation. In these 2 instances, Duch claimed he had not yet become chairman of S21 and that he was relaying orders from his superiors, Person B and Son Sen. In the final instance, Duch acknowledged that when chairman of S21, he wrote to his subordinate, interrogator, Person G, instructing him to use torture, and that in the event this torture resulted in the death of the detainee, that Person G would not be punished. Duch stated that on this occasion he received instructions from Son Sen by telephone. C. Torture techniques. Interrogators used several forms of torture in order to extract confessions from prisoners. According to Duch, only 4 methods of torture were allowed: beating, electrocution, placing a plastic bag over the head, and pouring water into the nose. Duch specified that the method most used was beating with a stick because other methods wasted time. It appears that the severity of torture would increase if the detainee did not properly confess. A confession was improper if it was deemed insufficiently detailed or it failed to name other traitors. Duch stated that he was unaware of the use of other forms of torture, some of which he said were prohibited at age 21. Despite this, Duch later acknowledged that he knew about the practice of puncturing or removing finger and toenails. He added that he reacted to this knowledge by writing a report, but there is no other evidence that he ever disciplined interrogators for using this and other unauthorized techniques. In fact, witness E stated that this form of torture was used under instructions from Duch himself. There is also evidence that at least one prisoner was force-fed excrement. Duch said in this respect that he tended to refuse the idea that he was aware of these practices, but that he could not rely on his memory for such specific points, as he was primarily interested in the content of the confessions and did not pay close attention to the manner in which prisoners were treated. He also recognized that cold water and fans were a method used at age 21, admitting that he did not react to this practice. According to witness J, some other practices, such as removing the clothes of prisoners and then using electrical equipment to shock the genitals or ears of prisoners, were used during interrogations. At the reconstruction, the possibility that prisoners had been tortured using a bathtub, now exhibited at the Tribunal Museum, was discussed. As 21 guard, witness L stated he had seen it, and witness H explained that a Vietnamese detainee claimed he had been tortured in one. However, Duch maintained that he had never ordered that a bathtub be used to torture prisoners, and nor was he aware that one had been used. The investigation also revealed the occurrence of practices such as forcing the detainees to pay homage to images of dogs. Duch admitted to the co-investigating judges that he was aware of this practice, insisting initially that he did not support it, but later acknowledging he did in fact encourage it at an interrogators training session on 28 May 1978. Moreover, witness H recalled seeing a guard take a detainee to a portico, suspend him with a cord, and plunged his head into a full water jar. Witness H watched this scene from the window of the painter's room. two former S-21 prisoners told investigators about their experiences of being tortured. Witness F stated that he was repeatedly beaten on the back with a piece of wood. Later, an interrogator pulled out the toenails from both of his feet. He also said he received electric shocks on his earlobes, and on the third day, he fell unconscious twice. He specified that he was subjected to this treatment for 12 days and 12 nights. Witness N, for his part, said that upon being taken to the interrogation room, the interrogators showed him the torture equipment and asked him to choose which implements would be used against him. He was then beaten on the back with a whip, a rattan stick, and electrical cables, while handcuffed and forced to lie face down on the ground. He said his back was cut and bleeding all over the floor, and that he was also electrocuted. He added that he was tortured twice a day over a consecutive 2-week period. The gravity of the physical abuse described above led to death in certain cases. Duch acknowledged this to be the case and stated that he organized a study session to remedy this situation. However, he also conceded that on 1st October 1976, he wrote a letter to a subordinate, person G, in which he instructed him to use torture. He said that if the torture resulted in the death of the detained person, person G would not be considered responsible. There is evidence of rape being committed at S-21. However, recollections differ, and it is not clear how many instances occurred. Duch stated that there was only one incident involving his former school teacher, person EE, where an interrogator, originally from Division 703, inserted a stick into her genitals. After the rape was reported, Duch said that he discussed the incident with person C, who was responsible for the men of Division 703. He recalled that he told to his superior, who did not say anything. Consequently, he did not punish the perpetrator, who was simply assigned to interrogate another person. He also suggested that in the future, wives of cadre were to interrogate female prisoners, a change which was implemented. However, witness E stated that these female interrogators were all eventually arrested, and from at least 1977, female prisoners were again interrogated by male guards. Duch finally stated that he now admits that he failed to punish serious crimes that violated human dignity, integrity, the President. Now, it's time for the chamber to adjourn for lunch. The reading is going to take some time, and I would like to declare the adjournment of the hearing until 1:30, when the chamber will resume. Please, participants, come to occupy your seats before 1:30 this afternoon for the proceedings to continue. It's 1:30 p.m. I instruct the detention officials to take Kaing Guek Eav back to his detention room and bring him back before 1:30 p.m. this afternoon.